Thanks for staying with us on TV West. You are watching News Radar. I'm Victoria Ogudenge. Here's what on the radar this hour. Lagos Waste Management Authority, LOMA, shuts down markets and plazas over environmental violations as the agency intensifies a cleanup of waste backlogs. NAFDAC orders a nationwide recall of alcoholic drink in sachets and small plastic bottles, with manufacturers to bear the cost of destruction and face sanctions for non-compliance. In entertainment, the family of late Nollywood veteran Ogogo announces his burial program with an 8-day fidel prayer and an Artist Day set to celebrate his legacy in Yoruba cinema. And in sports, NPFL signs a 3-year $7.5 million sponsorship deal with Euromatch as the league chairman says football is drawing record crowd and the new focus is on managing surging stadium attendance. We will bring you the details of these stories and more very shortly. Now the news in details. The Ogun State government says it will assess the possibility of establishing a public secondary school in Orimerumu, Obafemi Owode local government area. The State Commissioner for Education gave the assurance after residents appealed for a secondary school and the rehabilitation of the community's only public primary school. Residents said the absence of a secondary school forces students to travel to Ibafo, Mowe, Magboro, and Ojodu Bega, exposing them to transport challenges and the dangers of crossing the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. They also complained about the poor condition of the Obafemi Owode Primary School, with parts of the building and roof reportedly in disrepair. Arif Babu said the primary school would be included in the state intervention program for the school infrastructure. He explained that the school currently has 311 pupils, with the government would first assess the community's need and the level of patronage before deciding on a secondary school. The commissioner said providing a conducive learning environment remains a priority for the state government. A security officer identified as Stanley has been shot dead in a suspected cult attack in the Shongotedo area of Lagos. The incident occurred at a royal estate on Friday night when two unidentified men on a motorcycle reportedly opened fire. The Lagos State Police Command confirmed the incident, saying the victim was shot by the attackers. The police spokesperson, Abimbola Adebisi, said an investigation is ongoing while no suspect has been arrested. The incident comes weeks after another security guard, identified as Godwin, was allegedly killed by suspected cultists in Abule Ijesha, Yaba. The Lagos Waste Management Authority has shut down several markets and plazas in the Ayobo Ikwaja area for violating environmental rules. Loma boss Muiwa Gbadegeshi says the enforcement operation took place on Sunday. The team targeted facilities that reportedly ignored the authorities' directives. Among those seals are Rock of Ages Plaza, Ajorogun 1 Market, Ayobo Market, and Oba Plaza. The crackdown is part of a wider cleanup of waste backlogs across the axis. Workers have already cleared refuse from Oluwaga bus stop, Ayobo Road, Midian, Atonla, and other locations. Gbadegeshi says the authority will combine evacuation with sustained monitoring. He warns that cleared spots must not become dumping grounds again. He is urging residents and businesses to use assigned waste operators and approved disposal channels. Loma says it will keep sanctioning any facility that contributes to indiscriminate dumping. The goal is to restore lasting cleanliness across the districts. NAFDAC has ordered manufacturers of alcoholic beverages in sachets and small plastic bottles to begin a nationwide call. The agency says the 14 companies will face stiff regulations and punitive measures. All recalled products will be inventoried and destroyed under supervision, with manufacturers bearing the cost. Director General Mojisola Adeyeye says the directive follows the signing of an irrevocable enforcement undertaking by industry associations. The ban on such products took effect on January 1st. It followed concerns over the widespread availability of high alcohol drinks in small, cheap, and easily concealed packages. Adeyeye says manufacturers whose facilities were sealed must verify dismantling or reconfiguration of production lines before reopening.
if you are a manufacturer of alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles less than 200 ml, and we find your product in the market, you will be fined heavily, aside from what you are doing right now. And the manufacturing facility will be closed down permanently. We will use POCA, Proceeds of Crime law, to deal with such manufacturer. But what I've seen from the manufacturing groups, the BAN and AFBT, is that they are ready to comply. They have seen that deterrent is working, and the highest deterrent is complete shutdown of the companies. NAFDAC is backed by that law. In terms of job loss, this was sounded since 2018. And many manufacturers now are thinking, they were the one who suggested reconfiguration of their lines. So they are thinking compliance. But if anybody doesn't comply, we will visit that company rather with the law.
Former Vice President and leading opposition presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar is standing firm on his promise to bring back petrol subsidy if elected president. The ADC candidate has publicly rebuked his media aide, Paul Ibe, for contradicting him during a television interview. He says the aide was not speaking on his authority. Atiku insists a nation as blessed as Nigeria has no business abandoning its citizens to hardship. He says the wealth of a country is measured by what the money in people's pockets can buy. He is promising to restore targeted subsidy and return purchasing power to households. But his team says this is not a return to the old import racket. The plan would support local refining and come with transparent budgeting and independent audits. The intervention would be phased out only when domestic supply stabilizes and price become affordable without government help.
This afternoon or this evening, so many Nigerians have been calling me to say that, one of my press aides had contradicted me in my policy statement as far as subsidy is concerned. I want to repeat categorically that what I said, I will return subsidy, I will. And Nigeria is rich enough to look after the welfare of its citizens. Therefore, let it be clearly stated that he was not speaking on my own authority, because the removal of subsidy has driven more Nigerians into poverty than at any other time in the history of this country. And the fundamental responsibility of the government is the welfare of the citizens. Two, I will make sure we secure this country. We are competing with thieves. They stole the election. Now they have stolen the economy. They have stolen everything.
The federal government is considering pulling the plug on the Benin-Asaba Road concession. Works Minister David Umahi made this known while inspecting the project site in Benin City. He expressed deep frustration with the slow pace and poor quality of work delivered so far. The minister says the contract could be revoked and handed to a more serious company if there is no immediate improvement. The inspection was ordered by President Bola Tinubu. It follows a protest by Edo youths over the terrible condition of the highway. Governor Monday Okwebiolo and some federal lawmakers joined the minister on the visits. Road users have endured untold hardship along the corridor for months. The government says it will no longer tolerate incompetence from contractors handling critical national infrastructure. A final decision is expected after further engagement with the concessionaire. The chairman of Kuje Area Council has explained controversial comments he made about opposition supporters. Samuel Shekwolo says his statements were taken out of context and led to a distorted narrative. In the viral video, the chairman had told residents opposed to the APC to leave the area council. He said he would not tolerate opposition to President Tinubu's re-election bid. He argued that residents should support the ruling party because of development projects executed in Kuje. The remarks sparked instant backlash online. Critics said there should be room for opposition in a democracy. Shekwolo has now responded. He insists he was not threatening residents, but only urging them to appreciate the work done by the current administration. He says his words were not meant to suppress dissent or undermine democratic rights.
In recent days, certain statements I made were taken out of context and leading to a distorted narrative that does not reflect my true intent, core values, or the official position of this administration. While I deeply respect the press and its vital role as a pillar of our democracy, it is crucial to clarify what the intent of the message was for and who. The remarks in question was made in a specific context aimed at addressing administrative efficiency, local development, and community welfare. You may recall that the event that led to the unfortunate incident was a meeting with the APC party youths and loyalists. And as the executive chairman of Kuje Area Council, I have no right to disenfranchise any residents or citizens of their fundamental human rights in the council. Let me state sincerely that our administration remains fully committed to inclusive governance, equity, and total progress of every community in Kuje Area Council.
The German embassy in Nigeria has warned Nigerians against relying on misinformation from the so-called visa agents when applying for German visa. In a post on its official X account on Wednesday, the embassy urged applicants to get visa information directly from official sources. The mission also clarified that it does not work with any visa agents, stressing that relevant information is freely available on its official website. The embassy encouraged Nigerians to share claims that they have heard from visa agents, saying it will address some of them in the upcoming post. It advised applicants to verify visa information through official channels to avoid unnecessary costs, confusion, and possible fraud. You're watching News Radar on TV West. We'll take a short break now and return with more news. Stay with us.
You are watching the test transmission of TV West. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to our social media handle @TV West NG across all social networks. Thanks for staying with us.
TV West, reporting the West, inspiring progress.
Welcome back to News Radar on TV West. Now to the rest of the news. And now to business. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has increased the price of premium motor spirits from 1,185 naira to 1,200 naira per litre. The new price took effect on Wednesday, according to a notice issued to customers by the refining group Commercial Operations. The refinery also increased its coastal price from 1,562,265 to 1,582,380 per metric ton. Customers were directed to return all existing authorization to collect documents for repricing, after which new volume contracts would be issued to allow loading to resume. The latest adjustment represents a 15 increase per litre and comes just 5 days after the refinery raised its gantry price from 1,165 naira to 1,185 naira per litre. The latest hike could push petrol pump price higher, with marketers expected to factor in transportation and other downstream costs. Industry estimates suggest petrol could sell for an average of 1,250 per litre. The increase comes amid failing international crude oil prices. West Texas Intermediate crude was trading at $82.13 per barrel on Tuesday, while Brent crude stood at $88.37 per barrel. Oil prices have been volatile amid the ongoing US-Iran conflict, with concerns over possible supply disruptions through the Strait of Hormuz. The Dangote Group has yet to respond to inquiries on the latest price increase as of the time of filing this report. Wall Street's main indexes closed higher on Tuesday. Technology stocks recovered from a sell-off as investors looked ahead to NVIDIA's results. The Dow Jones rose 160 points. The S&P 500 gained 24 points. The Nasdaq climbed 171 points. Longer-date Treasury yields fell off as oil prices dropped to a one-week low. Investors also weighed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's decisions to expand government buyback. NVIDIA rose just over 2% ahead of its earnings report on Wednesday. Meta climbed almost 2%. Advanced Micro Device gained nearly 5% after an upgrade. Analysts say the results will be the next test for the earning-driven rally. Any signs of slowing growth could reignite concerns about stretched valuations. Markets have grown wary of cyclical spending and how big tech firms are funding their AI build-out, but some strategists remain constructive on the outlook for American economy over the next year and a half. In entertainment news, the family of late Nollywood veteran Taiwo Hassan, popularly known as Ogogo, has announced the remaining programs for his burial rites. Ogogo died at the age of 66 on Sunday and was buried according to Islamic rites in Ilaro, Ogun State on Monday. According to the veteran actor Jide Kosoko, the 8-day fidal prayer will hold on Monday, August 31st in Ilaro. The family also announced an artist day scheduled for 40 days after the burial at the Pavilion Hall in Ilaro. The event, coordinated by Tampan, will feature actors, musicians, comedians, and other entertainers celebrating Ogogo's life and legacy. Kosoko thanked colleagues, friends, fans, and well-wishers for their support and attendance at the burial. Ogogo, who began his acting career in the 1980s, was a prominent figure in Yoruba language cinema as an actor, producer, and filmmaker. Country music legend Dolly Parton has died at the age of 80. Her team has confirmed that she passed away on Tuesday after a brief battle with cancer. Parton died at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville. Surrounded by loved ones, she had been admitted on Friday. Her nephew, Brian Tiva, announced the news in a video. He described her as the woman who lived in the light. Days before her death, Parton acknowledged her health struggles. She said she was still healing but still working, and she had many things she wanted to achieve. Parton was the best-selling female country music artist of all time. She sold more than 160 million albums worldwide. Her hits include I Will Always Love You, 9 to 5, and Jolene. She was also known for her generosity. Her Imagination Library donated hundreds of millions of books to children around the world. She also funded research that helped create a life-saving vaccine. Fans around the world are mourning the loss of one of one's music's most beloved figures. And on the foreign scene, a devastating flash flood has torn through mountain communities in Nepal. Officials confirmed 22 people are dead. Hundreds more remain unaccounted for, including nearly 300 foreign tourists. The flood hit the district of Raswa without warning. There was no heavy rain. Whole villages, roads, bridges, and power projects were simply washed away. Helicopters cannot yet land because the water levels are still dangerously high. Prime Minister Balendra Shah has summoned an emergency response. Soldiers and disaster team are heading to the scene. Power supply has been badly hit. More than 400 megawatts of generating capacity is damaged. 8 South Korean workers at a hydro project are missing. Seoul is sending a rescue team to assist. Climate experts believe an avalanche from a glacier may have triggered the flood. They say a river blocked by ice suddenly released a surge downstream. The search for survivors continues. Officials fear the casualty figures may rise. And in sports, the Nigerian Premier Football League has signed a 3-year sponsorship deal worth $7.5 million. The league chairman unveiled the new sponsors, Euromatch, at a ceremony in Abuja on Wednesday. The league will receive $2.5 million per season over the 3-year period. It says the deal marks a new chapter for a domestic football and is excited about the growing number of fans trooping to stadiums. It says the league is no longer struggling to attract spectators. The challenge now is managing the surging crowds. The NFF president and several former internationals attended the event. Austin Iguavin, David Amokachi, Samson Siaisia, and Brown Ideye were all present. The new sponsorship is expected to improve match day experience and raise the standard of the competition.
People announce to you, the deal is about every season we're going to get from Euromatch $2.5 million for 3 seasons. That will help in increasing players' wages. We're going to tell the clubs, but let us even because every team we do 60% straight to the clubs. That's our agreement. This must be reflected in the welfare of the footballers. The idea is that I will let the world know I was DG National Sports Commission. I was India's representative. Alright? I was commissioner. I've been in the public position for a very long time. But in football and in sport generally, the athletes and the players are the attractions, not the administrators. Yes, sir. And also the reality.
Chelsea have contacted Emiliano Martinez's representatives as they consider a move for the Aston Villa goalkeeper. The 33-year-old Argentina international could be available for transfer after Villa signed Japan goalkeeper Zion Suzuki from Parma for about £30 million earlier this month. Chelsea's interests come amid concerns over Robert Sanchez, who made several mistakes in the Blues' 3-2 win over Fulham in the opening Premier League match. Martinez also has attracted interest from Juventus, but the move collapsed over concerns about a finger injury, with Juventus later signing Tottenham Guillermo Vicario on loan. Chelsea and Villa have a strong recent transfer relationship, with Morgan Rogers moving to Chelsea for £117 million and Alessandro Garnacho joining Villa on an initial loan deal. Villa are also interested in Chelsea striker Nicholas Jackson, while Mark Penders could start against Luton Town in the Carabao Cup as Chelsea continue to assess their goalkeeping options. UEFA is preparing to withdraw its threats to boycott FIFA competitions. Sources say the European body has received assurances that FIFA will not attempt another private investment plan for the World Cup. The matter will be discussed at the UEFA Executive Committee meeting in Monaco on Thursday. If the boycott threat is lifted, next month's Under-20 Women's World Cup will go ahead as planned. England, France, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and host Poland are all due to take part. FIFA President Gianni Infantino had proposed selling stakes in the World Cup to private investors. The plan was abandoned after widespread backlash. UEFA had demanded binding guarantees that such a move would never happen again. A source close to the discussion says this is not a climb down. They insist pressure on FIFA will continue until there are wholesale changes. UEFA President Alexander Seferin expects Infantino to resign or face a challenge at elections in March. The standoff has divided former players. Some are demanding change at FIFA, others are backing Infantino. If the role is resolved, focus will shift to the tournament next month and the future of FIFA's leadership. And that's News Radar on TV West. I'm Victoria Ogudende. Thank you for joining us.